Hope that works. All right. This is going to be Q&A tonight. So if you guys have questions, please let us know. You can just type them in the box. No, Cindy, your speaker wasn't bad. It's all good. So yeah, we're going to be doing Q&A tonight. So whoever has any questions, you can type them in the box and let us know if you guys have any sales issues that you have, or you tried something that we went over and it didn't work, or it did work, or somebody gave you an objection that you couldn't overcome, or whatever. You can let us know and we will answer them for you. Oh, and Mike, if you're ready to, I know you've been busy with what you've been doing, but if you want to come on tonight and talk about what you're doing, you can. I'll open the mic for you and you can talk to us, because I know you've been wanting to do that, but you had other stuff going on. So if you're available tonight, we can do that as well. But yeah, this is strictly Q&A tonight, guys. So if you gotta participate. If you're not going to participate, then I'm going to be sitting here talking to myself all night. So type your questions in the box and we will answer them for you. Mitch, we can talk about outsourcing. It's going to be a short conversation though. But if you want to talk about that, we can. Or if you know what's better, Mitch, if you have specific questions about outsourcing, then you can ask them and I'll address them for you. Raymond, yeah, the replays should all be in the membership area, so you can watch them in there. And Mitch, yeah, if you have specific questions about, listen, if you want to know how I outsource stuff, it's very simple. We went over this 2 weeks ago, right? Or was it 3 weeks ago? We went over it. I gave you guys the ad to post. I showed it to you, right? We posted it. I posted it on the webinar with you guys. Outsourcing is simple. You type in the subject of what you want to do, right? And you put the things that I taught you, like you put fast pay, great feedback. You don't put, I need 6 people to do all this crap for me. You write what they want to hear. So fast pay, good feedback, long-term work, all that stuff. And then you type in what you want them to do in the body of the message and you click submit. And then you come back 4 hours later and you have 800 people wanting to work for you for $4 an hour. It's really not that difficult to do. The way that I outsource stuff, it's very simple. The way I do it is I hire everyone that comes in. If I need 3 people, I'll hire 3 people, but I just hire like the first 3. It doesn't matter. And you guys know my criteria. I talked about it. So they have to be 90% or above. And I want to see some hours and some history, right? But other than that, I mean, it's, I'm going to give everybody a shot, and I just hire quickly and I fire quickly. So that's the way that I do it. And if you want to get into a little bit more detail, basically I'm always looking for more than one position. So if I'm hiring someone to do pay-per-click advertising for me, or, whatever, right? I'm looking for someone who could do pay-per-click advertising for me, as well as manage other people, or as well as run email campaigns, or as well as do SEO or graphics or whatever. I want someone that can do a number of different things. So if you guys have specific questions about that, you can ask. So I guess I kind of know the process of outsourcing anyway, but any specific tips we should avoid? Yeah, don't fall in love with people. That's the first tip I'll give you. Business is about relationships, but people take that to an extreme. Like, oh, I like this guy, so I'm going to stick with him. Wrong answer. If the guy sucks, he sucks. Get rid of him right away. I don't care about your personal relationships. Do that on your own time. If he's terrible, fire him right away. That's the best tip I can give you. Hire everybody that comes in within reason, obviously, and then fire people right away. If you're looking for salespeople, You hire every single person that walks through the door. Everybody. I don't care I don't even do interviews. Like, I don't even care. If they're a salesperson, they want to sell, I hire every single person. I hand them a piece of paper, and the second they screw it up, I don't care if it's the first call, the 100th call, whatever, the second they screw it up, they're gone. That's it. No warning, no nothing. You hire everyone and you fire everybody. That's the way it works. Raymond, will we be able to get help after tonight? Yeah, you can get help after tonight, Raymond, but you can. But I mean, you guys have been here with me every week now, right? Especially, like, I'm going to go through some of the names because I know the people that come all the time. So Deb's been here, Mitch has been here, Nee's been here, Raymond, you've been here too, I think. Cindy's been here, Mike's been. Most of the people that are here tonight have been here every week. And, I hate to sound like a jerk, but nobody asks any questions. So I don't really know. This is not a complicated process, right? You're prospecting, you're finding leads, you're pitching them something, you're closing it, then you're providing them a service. It's not complicated. Same thing as selling cars, houses, boats, whatever else you want to do. It's the same process. So if you guys aren't gonna, if you're not asking questions, then I don't really know how to help you. But yeah, Mitch, that's really, when it comes down to it, don't overcomplicate it, man. That's the best advice I can give you, right? Don't overcomplicate it. If you're looking for an SEO person, go on Upwork, type an ad. I showed you how to do that 3 weeks ago. If you're looking for someone to rank YouTube videos for you, go on Fiverr, type in YouTube. You just find the person to do it. If they have 4,000 stars, 4,000 positive reviews, they're not going to screw it up too bad. So that's probably a good person. It's real basic. Everything that I do is basic. It's not complicated. Nothing that I do is complicated, because if it was, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, that's it. There's no, people want to put together a $1,000 course teaching you how to outsource stuff. It's useless. You go on, you find the person you need to find, and you just hire them. That's it. What's the worst that could happen? They screw up after a day, and you fire them. That's it. And you lose $20. Big deal. Whatever. So Kenny, you said you generate a lot of leads for your clients, like you're dominating niche for him. How many leads do you roughly generate to make your client very happy every month, though? I want to have a better picture of it. Thanks. Okay, so Mitch, that depends on the prospect and the industry, right? So I'll give you an example for and the individual companies as well. So here's an example. As you guys know, I work with a lot of attorneys, right? I have attorneys that have a firm with 30 and 40 associates under them, right? So they'll have 30 or 40, lawyers that are new out of law school or whatever. And the big guy is the guy that they advertise, right? He's the name of the company. And then the associates get handed off the cases as the people come in for the consultations. And what they do is they just market like crazy, get a whole bunch of consultations. And usually the way that they do it is they'll have a low retainer, right? And then they just bill for everything. And there's a very high turnover rate in firms like that when it comes to the cases. So in certain industries, in certain areas of the United States, you can look in the court records and you'll see like a divorce attorney is in and out of every single case that's on the docket. And the reason why that is because they're just a churn and burn shop. That's the way that they operate. And I have clients like that. So for a guy like that, he's going to need hundreds of leads every single month, right? Hundreds of leads. Now, I also have clients where it's, lawyer A and lawyer B and they're partners. They need 10 leads a month. Anything more than that, they're not going to be able to handle it. Because once they get a lead coming in, they're going to close a certain percentage of them, 30, 40% of them are going to retain them. Then they got to go to court. They got to do research. They got to type up documents. So for them, it's a lot harder, right? So it depends on the industry, and it also depends on the actual company that you're working with. You have to understand who you're dealing with, right? And that's one of the reasons why when I do like advice-based consulting stuff, I have very strong criteria for who I'm going to work with and who I'm not going to work with. Because if I'm going to give somebody advice, that 2-person law firm, they're never going to be able to handle what I do. So I can't take them on as a client, right? But the 40-person law firm, I can take them on as a client and blow that place up like crazy. Okay, so it really depends on what you're doing, the industry that you're in, and the company specifically that you're working with. And the same thing applies to every industry, right? So if you're dealing with a roofer and it's one guy and a truck and a hammer and nails, the guy's going to be able to take 3 or 4 leads a month and that's it. But if he has 25 trucks all across the Northeast, you have to bring him in hundreds of leads every month to make him happy. Now, but obviously you charge more for that too. So I hope that helps, Mitch. All right, what else, guys? If we want to not take the SEO route and do it quicker and get, say, leads for plumbing niche in Dallas on Facebook ads, how much should we spend to get some leads for that to give one out for free? Can I spend $5 to see if an ad people will click, and then 20 to get a lead? What are the numbers with that? Okay, so that's a good question. First of all, let me read that again because my contact lens is killing me and everything is blurry. Can I spend $5 to see if an ad? Okay, so here's basically what you're going to do, right? You're not going to spend $5 on one ad. That would be dumb. You're not going to do that. You're also not going to spend $20 on one ad. That would be even dumber than the $5. What you're going to do is you're going to remember what we talked about when we talked about Facebook ads. We talked about it briefly in here, but we did touch on it a little bit. So we have campaigns, which is what you want to happen, right? Then we have an ad set, which is the actual demographic and the budget. And then we have ads inside the ad set, right? That's how Facebook ads work. So what you're talking about, hang on a second. What you're talking about, Cindy, is running $5 ads, right? That would be a big mistake. What you want to do is you want to take that $5 and split it up across a number of different ads. That's the way that I do it. So I'm going to have a demographic, then I'm going to have my ad set, and then in that ad set, I'm going to have 5 different ads. I'm going to get one approved, right? I'm going to type up one ad, I'm going to get it approved. My budget's going to be $5. Then once that ad gets approved, I'm going to duplicate it 4 times in the Power Editor. Once I duplicate it 4 times, I'm going to change certain things. So I'm going to change the image on one of them. I'm going to change the headline on another one. I'm going to change the button on another one. Whatever it is, I'm going to change a whole bunch of stuff. And one thing in each different ad, I'm going to have 5 unique ads. I'm going to let that run for 24, 48 hours. I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm going to keep the top one ad, the best one, and I'm going to shut everything off. Everything off goes like inactive or whatever it's called. Just slide it off so it's not green anymore. Once that happens, that's when I start to up my budget. But you want to up your budget very slowly. You don't want to go from $5 to $50 because then Facebook is just going to charge you more for the action, whatever action you chose, whether it's a click or whatever. They're going to charge you more for it. So you want to slowly increase your budget. So you don't go from 5 to 20. You go from 5 to 750, 750 to 10, 10 to 1250, 1250 to 15, and so on and so forth until you get, until you find that happy medium where you really can't spend any more money. Because especially if you're doing local awareness ads, you're going to get to a point where you can't spend any more money. You're just running out of audience, right? That's a crappy place to be, but you're going to get there with local awareness. So you have to be aware of that. Okay. Alabama Mike, I'm out of town this week on assignments. That sounds interesting. But managed to be here at least. I don't have a mic with me, so I'm not going to be able to call in. You've done a great job explaining it all, so I really don't have any questions. One thing, though, some tips on how to get the person that can make the decision. How do you get through the gatekeepers? Okay, so everybody asks me this question over and over again all the time. You guys haven't asked it that much, but most people, that's like their biggest thing, right? The easiest way to get through a gatekeeper is to ask if the owner is available. And if somebody wants to open up their mic, then I'll be willing to like play this out with you. But I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. And you always want to reference the company that you're calling or the industry that you're calling. So that's the easiest way to do it. I think the biggest reason why people don't get through the gatekeepers is because they're scared to death when they make the phone call, and the gatekeeper can pick up on that right away. So if someone wants to volunteer their time and kind of challenge me on the gatekeeper thing, that would be fine. That would be the easiest way for me to explain it and show you how to do it. So local awareness ads are not a long-term viable option. Sounds like you're saying for local, we should do SEO. No, Cindy, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that eventually with local awareness ads, you run out of audience. So what that means is you're going to have to start off from square one again, right? So first of all, if you're doing Dallas and you're doing plumbing, you're never going to run out of audience. It's going to be really hard for you to run out of audience, right? Because you're doing plumbing in Dallas. But if I was doing divorce attorney in, East Hampton, New York, which there's not a lot of people where I live, right? But if that's if that was my ad, then yeah, I'd run out of audience pretty quickly. But then I could go to, what's the next biggest town west of me? Let's say like Riverhead, New York, right? Or Southampton or West, East, whatever. I could go to different towns that are in this area, right? So I would just have to go out further and further and further. So when you drop that pin, you start off at 5 miles and then you say, oh crap, I ran out of audience, right? So then you go to 10 miles. Right? Or you go to 7 miles, then you go to 10 miles, and you go to 12 miles, and you go to 15. And then you start back off at 5 again because now it's a year later, and those people don't even remember who you are, right? This whole time you're building an audience with pixels on your website or whatever it is. You can also retarget those people that clicked through to your ad but didn't buy from you or didn't schedule an appointment or whatever it is, didn't get an estimate or whatever. You can retarget all those people as well. All right, so you're never actually going to run out of audience. Maybe I phrased that the wrong way, but eventually you're going to have to start off from the beginning and or expand your reach to a wider margin as you go on. Maybe I'm not the top SEO guy, but when it comes to local biz, I've never generated hundreds of leads per month from my clients in the past. So I believe a large portion of your leads are coming from paid ads. Mitch, I am certainly not a top SEO guy. I wouldn't even know where to start. But all of my 99% of my leads that come into a business are paid stuff. I'm not saying it's all pay-per-click stuff. To be honest with you, most of the stuff, that lawyer that I gave you the example of before, 10% of his traffic comes from paid ads online. He's a radio guy and he's a TV guy. That's where all of his stuff comes from. TV ads and radio ads. And he does some paid traffic and all that, but 90% of his traffic is paid television and radio. That's where almost all of it comes from. And he's a big newspaper guy too, believe it or not. And he does really well with that. But yeah, almost everything that I do is paid because I can control it. I can't control SEO. I mean, a lot of people argue me on that one. Oh well, I can get you up there, whatever. Okay, yeah, fine. And then freaking the Google guys do another update, and you're on page 54 overnight, and you're like, oh well, sucks. Sorry. With paid traffic, that doesn't happen, right? This just doesn't happen. So I can control it the whole time. Mitch, you get leads from several sources, many channels. But yeah, I mean, I want to. First of all, I want to get with the client first, right? That's number one. I want to get with the client first, and I want to try to figure out. This is actually before they're a client, right? This is during the prospecting phase, and I'm talking about advice-based stuff here, not results-based stuff, right? If they're results-based stuff, then they're doing whatever I tell them to do. That's it. Because all I'm doing is providing the lead, right? I'm not providing anything else. I'm just providing the lead. But if I'm getting a person that I'm going to give advice to, I'm going to get with that person before they even become a client, and I'm going to figure out what it is that they're comfortable with. And that's going to be able to help me determine whether they're going to be able to become a client of mine or not. If I find someone who refuses to be on video, refuses to do any audio work, refuses to have his picture taken, well, you know what? We're not going to be a good fit. Because I'm going to need y'all on TV. I'm going to need y'all on the radio. I'm going to need y'all online. I'm going to need y'all on YouTube. I'm going to need you in places like that. I'm going to have to record your voice and some videos for some ads and stuff like that. If you're not willing to do that stuff, well, then you know what? Sorry, I can't help you. Right? So it really depends on the client. But yes, I'm going to be in as many places as I possibly can be. As long as the numbers work, you have to understand the long-term value of a customer. Once you understand that number, you know what that number is, then it's pretty easy to do it. Most of the people that I deal with, have that number already. Whether they have it already or we have to figure it out, they know, because one of my criteria is that they have to be in business for 10 years in order for me to work with them. So if they're in business for 10 years, we can easily figure out what the lifetime or long-term value of a customer is. Cindy, is someone going to be the gatekeeper? Anyone can be the gatekeeper. You want to be the gatekeeper? Unmute yourself and come on. I forgot who asked that question, but it's actually shockingly easy to get through a gatekeeper. It's really not that hard. And again, like everything else, everyone overcomplicates it and they try to do all this fancy crap, but it's not easy. It's not hard. And we went over this in another webinar, I believe. Cindy, you were not going to give. You did a pretty good job a couple weeks ago. I forget. We battled it out pretty hard. I beat you up a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. Mitch, I think what you just said makes it clear. I suppose many of us got an impression that we kind of need to generate leads from SEO, Facebook, and PPC online based. Okay, Mitch, yeah, you do. You do. I want to make that very clear. You do have to generate leads from online sources. And the reason why is because, Mitch, I'm not going to tell you, yeah, go prospect for plumbers in Boise, Idaho. And when you get 20 of them interested, run a TV ad for 50 grand. I mean, come on, really? That's crazy. I would never tell anyone to do that, right? So yeah, you start off with a $5 ad on Facebook, but if you get a client that's paying you 10 grand a month and he wants to pay 50 grand to be on TV for you to script out his ad, oh, okay, let's go, right? But we're not going to do that with this. The two don't even mix, right? This is purely online based stuff. Nee, as a newbie, how do I get testimonials? Nee, can you talk on the microphone or no? If you can, unmute yourself because I want to go over this with everybody. If you can talk, unmute yourself. If you can't, then just say I can't talk or whatever. Mitch, so yeah, I hope that helps. You don't want to go right to the television. You don't want to go right to radio, although radio is absolutely the best way to advertise ever, like in the history of the world. The radio is awesome. It's cheap. You can totally target your demographic like crazy. And very few people use it because they think it's dead. AM radio especially is like the best thing in the world. Okay, Knee's mic isn't working. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because I have to ask you some questions before I can honestly give you an answer about your testimonials. So I guess you could just type back to me as I'm talking. So whatever service that you're providing, are you doing the work? Yes or no? That's the first question that you have to answer in order for me to tell you where to get your testimonials from. Yes, you are doing the work. Okay, so if you're doing the work, do you consider yourself good enough to charge $2,500 a month for the service that you're going to provide? That's the second question. Okay, not yet. Then you should not be providing the work. Simple as that. Okay, now if you don't believe that you could provide a service that you could charge $2,500 for, you shouldn't be doing it. I mean, I don't know why that's so hard to understand, but if you don't listen, I suck at search engine optimization. I would never even try to do it. I could sell it for $2,500 a month, but I can't do it. So what do I got to do? I got to find someone else that's going to do it, right? Henry Ford never built a car in his life, but he sold a crap load of them. Okay, you don't have to know how to do the thing. You have to know how to hire the person that knows how to do the thing. Simple as that. And you have to know how to sell it. So, Nee, the answer to your question is very simply this. You're going to have testimonials from people who are actually doing the work. If you're selling pay-per-click traffic, right? Or let's use SEO because that's an easier one. If you're selling SEO, right? It's dishonest of you to give your testimonials to the prospect if you're not going to be doing the work. Would you agree with that? Or would you think that's wrong? You're not doing the SEO for him. Somebody else is. But you're going to give him your testimonials. Do you think that's honest or dishonest? It's dishonest. Right. So where do you get your testimonials from? You get your testimonials from the people who are actually going to be doing the work, which are people on Upwork, people on Fiverr, people on freelancer.com, whoever it is you're going to be hiring to do the work for you. A lot of people freak out about, oh, I'm brand new. I don't have any reviews. I don't have testimonials. I don't have any case studies. Well, you're not going to be doing the SEO anyway. So what the hell are you worried about case studies for? Find case studies and reviews and testimonials from people who are actually going to be doing the work. I did a video today showing like an email marketing thing. And I'm like, hey, can you hire someone that does email marketing or whatever? And I went on Upwork and I just showed the number. There's like 130,000 people that do email marketing on Upwork. Find one of them that's good and say, hey, I want to hire you. I don't have a job for you yet, but when I do, I'm going to give it to you. Show me proof that you can do the email marketing thing. Show me campaigns you ran. Now you have testimonials. He's going to be doing the work anyway, right? So you give those testimonials to the client and you become the middleman and you say, hey, here's my employee. This is what he's done. Here's what he can do for you. Here's the testimonials. Close the deal. Give it to the guy on Upwork. That's how you do it. And we went over that, I believe, 3 weeks ago. It's okay that you asked the question, but we went over that 3 weeks ago, and I showed you the ad that you should post to get the testimonials. And I believe I even posted the ad live on the call with you guys. I think I did. Okay, Nee gets it now. Good. All right, so since no one wants to come on the microphone, oh, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Kenny?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, one more thing I want to say about testimonials is that when I started mine, I had zero. I had no case studies, no testimonials, I didn't even have a website. I just emailed the guy and asked if he wanted to work together, and he said yes. So if you don't have testimonials, don't let that stop you from starting something, okay? For some people that you sell to, it might matter to them whether or not you have case studies or testimonials or whatever, and you probably won't get them. So in other words, you're going to start your business, you're going to start selling, and then your closing percentage might be a little bit lower because you don't have some testimonial, from people that specifically are looking for that. And there's nothing wrong. That's fine. So, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to close anybody. Okay, so you just got to get out there, and don't let things like that stop you from starting, because eventually you will get the testimonials and the case studies, and then that won't be an issue. But don't make it an issue before you get started, is, I guess, my point.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you know what? Lee's right. You don't need testimonials. And you know what? It's very easy to overcome if somebody asks you for them and you don't have them. It's not that hard to overcome. I mean, it's pretty simple. So I'm looking for somebody for 2 examples now. How to get over the testimonial objection, I guess, or the testimonial valid question that someone will ask you. It's not really an objection. It's actually pretty valid. And the gatekeeper thing. So if anyone wants to volunteer, then unmute yourself. There are huge SEO groups out there. You endorse me, I endorse you. Yeah, that's fine. See what I would do? See, Cindy, you just brought up a great point, right? What I would do is I would say something like this to someone when they say, hey, do you have any testimonials? What I would say to them is exactly this. I would say, and listen to the wording. Listen to the wording, because I'm not lying. I am misleading people, but I'm not lying. So listen to the wording. You have testimonials? I want to see some of the work you did in the past. Listen, Joe, I could send you email after email after email after email. Your inbox would be full for days. But here's the bottom line. There are groups on Facebook where people just trade testimonials back and forth. They're meaningless. That's number one. Number two, how would you feel if I was on the phone with your competitor and he asked me for testimonials and I gave him all your information? Pretty shitty, right? Yes, I agree. So how about we do this? How about instead of you going off of somebody else's word and somebody else's results, I show you the results that I can do for you right now. Sign here. Okay, so I'm using what Cindy just said against her and everyone else in that group, and I'm using that not to get testimonials, but to prove why I don't need them. I used to do that with websites all the time. My company still does not have a website. Still, 10 years old, we don't have a website. And people ask me for a website all the time, and what I say to them is I say, listen, there are people on the Warrior Forum, and I show them. I'm like, there are people on the Warrior Forum that spend years developing a website and they haven't closed a deal in their freaking life. You want to work with one of them? You see a fancy website with sliders and graphics and music and everything else. Or do you want to work with someone who closes deals every single day? I mean, it's up to you. If you want a fancy website, you can go right there. And they bought an ebook yesterday and they'll talk you through how to build a landing page or whatever. Or you want to work with someone who worked with Geico, Hyundai, Subway, on and on and on and on and on. It's up to you. Okay, so all those groups are good, and but I use it against. I use it as a reason why I don't need testimonials. For me, without a site, Lee may have a different answer, but for me, I do it exactly as I just said. Have you received my email asking for your feedback about my Facebook ad copies? I have not seen that, no. Basically, I started to run a local awareness campaign with click to call, and it's been almost 2 days, but so far no calls. I did put up 4 ads with different pictures and copies. I know you mentioned about the Viral Nova. It's a great site. But is that what you pretty much use to test ads? Can you elaborate on capture a wider audience method on paid ads again, please? Okay, so I'm just telling you the way that I do it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but this is just the way that I do it. Okay, so Dallas Plumbers, somebody brought that up before. So if I'm going to go Dallas Plumbers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that guy's address, and I'm going to drop a pin right on his head, right? You drop a pin with local awareness, so I'm going to drop a pin right on his office. Then I'm going to go like 3 or 4 miles out, okay? If he's in a city, you might want to go, just use common sense, right? If he's in a rural area where there's like a house a mile, then you might want to go a little further. But use common sense. So I'm going to go a couple miles out. I get a good enough audience, 800,000, something like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 1 ad to get it approved, okay? I'm not going to duplicate ads until I get 1 ad approved. Once I get 1 ad approved, then I'm going to duplicate 4 times to create 5 ads, okay? Then I am going to change 1 thing in each ad. So I'm going to change the headline in one, I'm going to change the picture in another, I'm going to change the copy in another. Whatever I can change, I'm changing everything 1 time, okay? Then what I do is I let it run for 48 hours and I see where the best results are. And I shut off everything else. Once I get the one that I have, I start gradually upping my budget, and then I start to try to beat that doing the same exact process. Okay, that's the best way that I can explain it. All right, now the other thing that I said I think last week is that I'm in a little bit of a unique situation because when I run Facebook ads, I honestly do not care what it costs me to generate a lead. It doesn't matter to me because I know for a fact that if I get 10 leads for plumbers in Dallas, Texas, and I send it to 10 different plumbers in Dallas, Texas, that 3 of those leads are going to buy the plumbing services, and at least 1 of those people are going to buy my service at $2,500 a month. So I don't need to worry about spending 30, 40, 80, 100 bucks for a call. It doesn't matter to me. So I don't even pay attention to the budget. Now, you guys may want to pay attention to the budget, but for me, it doesn't matter. And again, it brings me back to the point I said before. If you're going to become an expert in anything, don't become an expert in SEO, pay-per-click, or any of that stuff. Become an expert in selling stuff, because that's the only thing that I know how to do. So because I know how to sell stuff, I don't have to worry about, holy crap, Facebook's at $20 a call or whatever. I don't have to worry about that. Because I know that if I get 10 calls into plumbing offices, 3 of those people are going to buy plumbing services from 3 different plumbers, and 1 of those plumbers that got a new customer from my ad is going to buy from me at $2,500 a month. So it doesn't matter. Can you elaborate about capturing a wider audience? Well, yeah, but you don't want to do that right away, though. That's something that gradually happens. So if you're in a location and you have 800,000 people and you run that ad for 6 months or something, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to run out of audience. So you just start moving your pin out a little bit. Like the pin, you drop a pin and then it tells you how many miles you have, right? And the cone goes out. So if I start seeing that my audience is running low, all I'm going to do is I'm going to move that pin out. So I'm going to go from 5 miles to 10 miles or 5 miles to 7 miles or whatever. Then I just keep going wider and wider and wider. But you have to understand too, you're also building custom audiences. If you do it the right way, you're also building custom audiences in Facebook every time you post an ad. So especially if you're pixeling people on a website, right? Because you can retarget those people over and over again. So that's a whole nother discussion, but that's something you got to think about as well. Oh, Mitch, yeah, that's a completely different thing. I'll talk about that in a second. Cindy, can you tell us a little bit more about retargeting? Yeah, it's pretty simple. You have a Facebook pixel, or it doesn't have to be a Facebook pixel. It could be any type of retargeting thing. If you have like ad roll or whatever, you can use whatever you want. But we're specifically talking about Facebook here. So you have a pixel on a site, right? Let's say you have a landing page with lead pages or whatever. You put the Facebook tracking pixel on lead pages. Okay, there's a little box for it. And what happens is somebody clicks your ad, okay, and then they go to the landing page, and then that pixel is tracked. So when that person is on Facebook, I can go ahead and then create a custom audience and say, okay, I want all the people who went to this landing page, and I want to just advertise to those people, right? So I could say something like, hey, you went to download my free report, but you never ended up getting it. Click here and we'll email it to you now, right? That wouldn't make sense to someone who never went to the page, but it would make perfect sense to someone who did go to the page but didn't opt in. Okay, so that's how you retarget people, and that's the broad overview of it. That's not really how you do it, but that's the overview of the concept. And you could do it a number of different ways too. You could track conversions, you could track opt-ins, you can put a number on your opt-in. This is the best way to do it. You can put a number on your opt-in. So let's say you're running an email campaign and you know that the value of the person that opts in is $10, right? If you know that through a tracking pixel on Facebook, you know that, then you can spend up to $10 to get a lead, right? Because you know that that person is worth $10 over the course of 3 months or whatever it is. Okay, so back to Mitch's question. What I meant was, instead of targeting those who urgently need a roof fix, you target those who have roofs over their head. Yes. Again, completely different discussion, right? But if you're dealing with a roofer or a plumber or whatever, ideally you want to get to a point where you're not targeting people who need a roof fix now. You're targeting every homeowner in the area. In order to do that, though, there's a much bigger process, right? And that process involves landing pages. It involves what we call segmentation sales, which basically tells us who's buying now, who's not buying now. It involves email sequences. It involves, very strong main offers from the client, right? You can do that and you should do that, but it's not something you do right in the beginning. In the beginning, especially when you're just prospecting, you're looking for a lead to close. You don't want to go for people who just own a home. You want to go for somebody who needs a roof right now, because that's the person that's going to put money in your prospect's pocket. If they put money in the prospect's pocket, they're going to buy from you. How many people do we need to make a custom audience to retarget? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. You can't do it with 10. I'll tell you that. It's got to be a sample size. 100, 200.
I think the minimum, actually, Kenny, I think the minimum's 20.
Oh, there you go.
For a custom audience, for you to start advertising a custom audience. So if you have, and this is the last time I checked on whatever that was, that process was, but if you advertise to a custom audience that has fewer than 20 people, then Facebook will tell you that it's not eligible yet, or it'll actually, it'll prevent you from doing it. So I think 20 is the magic number.
Yeah, so there you go. You have 20 people click an ad and go to a landing page and you pixel them, you can retarget those people. I don't know if I do it with 20 people. I think that would be a little bit of a waste of time, but you could. You could definitely do it. All right, what's next? Yeah, go ahead, Mitch. Just unmute yourself.
Hey, Kenny.
Hey,
Hey,
what's
Lee,
up, man?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on?
Okay, right. So basically, I like I said, I just started running my Facebook ad a couple of days ago. So no calls, right? So does it mean that I'm just doing something wrong, or is it kind of a normal process at the beginning, or you kind of start tweaking your ads to start?
No, honestly, it means that your ad's probably terrible.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm just being honest with you. It probably means that your ad's bad because, listen, if you're paying for impressions, they're seeing the ad, right? If they're seeing the ad and they're not clicking the call now button, it means that the ad is just not doing its job. The job of the ad is for them to hit the button.
Okay, so I'm a little confused here because I think last week when briefly we talked about FB ads. You just said like, look, you have to target the right audience in terms of, people who have roofs over the head. But then you just told me that, to do the process, you have to have landing pages and a lot more complicated process, right? But what I'm talking about here, or what I've been running for the last 2 days, is simply, hey, do you need a roofer in this area? Because we're the expert in this area, just give me a call type of ad, right?
Right.
Is that a kind of ad that I'm talking about? We should be doing it in order to get the calls coming through FB ads, or what? Or are we talking about, sort of covering the wider audience with the roofs over the head kind of people? I'm just a bit confused here.
Okay. You could do it either way. It doesn't matter which way you do it. What I said, though, is that what I was just talking about before with the landing pages, everything else, if you're going to run ads to every homeowner in the area that you're working in, then you're going to have to prepare either yourself or the prospect for those calls, right? Because you can't just run an ad for a roofer and say, hey, if you have a home, call us now. We have a special offer for you. And then have all those calls be, going into a roofing office. That would be crazy. And the guy would fire you in 10 minutes. You wouldn't want to do that, right? But you could do something like, we have 3 ways that you can increase the increase the value of your home by 30% by doing what you're currently doing, just doing it a little bit better. Call now and we'll give you the information. That could lead to a roofing office, but you would have to let them know that you're doing that so that they're prepared to take those calls. And you would also have to show them how to handle it when it comes in, right? Now, on the other side of it, like I was just talking about with landing pages, you can have that as a free report giveaway and then give those leads to a roofing company.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so it could be done either way. Or you can have an ad that says, hey, if you have a hole in your roof and it's leaking right now, call us and we'll fix it for you. You're not going to get that many calls with that ad, though, because there's not that many people with holes in their roof.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess, okay, so basically I have this niche that I'm targeting right now, which is a roofing industry, right? And the site is coming right up. I think now it's sitting on the bottom of the second page for the main keyword phrase.
Right.
But obviously it's not generating any leads at the moment because it's not a first page yet. So in the meantime, I just want to run some paid ads. So that's why I just got into FB ads. But so far, no calls at all. So, so if you are in this kind of situation, what sort of ads would you run on a Facebook or PPC, whatever?
Is it a client or a prospect?
For my basically, I just want to start generating leads for my warm leads.
Okay, you want to start generating leads for people that you call.
I just talking about this whole entire offline consulting process that you're talking about. So
right, but
we just want to sell this result-based consulting to these clients. I mean,
right, but what you have to understand though is that I'm running different ads for clients than I am for prospects.
Right. I just want to. Okay. Right. Basically, I want to generate the same type of leads that I would be generating through SEO for my prospective clients. So
okay, so basically what you want is you just want calls coming in for the people that you called and said, hey, I don't know if this will work or not, but I have a lead that might be coming in, and if it does, I'm going to send it to you. Is that good? And they said yes.
Yeah,
right?
I've already got those people on my list.
Right, but you're generating calls for them, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You're
can
not
go
generating
back to
calls
them, hey,
that are already paying you.
No, not yet. Not
okay.
Yet. I just
so
want to start sending them free leads first. That's what I want to do.
Okay. So what you want to do in that situation is you want to generate calls. You want to get every single person that has a roof over their head to call you.
Right. Okay.
In that situation, because you're going to play the numbers in that situation. You're just going to send as many people to those roofing companies as you can, and one of them is going to buy a roof or a repair or whatever. They're going to spend money with that company, and that's the one that you're going to close.
Okay. Right.
That's it. Now, would I do that for a client? Never, because I don't want to swamp them with all those calls. That's what I'm talking about. The ad that you run for a client is different than the ad you run for prospects. For prospects, you just want to throw as much against the wall as you possibly can because you know that one of them is going to close.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. But for a client that's paying me $2,500 a month, if I can get him 3 or 4 calls a month that are really good, people want roofs right now, he's going to like that a lot more than 200 calls a day. People don't care about roofs at all.
Would you be still running this type of FB ads for the clients that you have actually closed?
Yeah, I'm running Facebook ads. Yeah,
okay.
Facebook ads.
That has to be very specific. They're like a
Those are people that actually, unless I'm working with the client and I say, listen, this is the ad we're going to try. We're going to try to get every homeowner in the area. This is the ad that I'm going to run, and here's how you handle the incoming call when it comes in. If I'm going to coach them through that process, different story. But if it's just the guy that's paying me $2,000 a month or whatever it is to run Facebook ads or get leads from him or whatever, if that guy gets 2 or 3 or 4 good leads a month, I'm good, because he's going to close two of them out of 4 probably, right? Or maybe 2 out of 5. If he closes 2 deals a month, I'm good.
So realistically speaking, right? So let's say this is a roofing industry in a specific city in Australia, for example. Would you be realistically looking at probably like 10 or 20 leads per month will be more than enough for this client, you reckon?
Again, is it going to be is this a hypothetical about someone who's paying you, or is it for prospecting?
Yeah, I mean, who will be paying me, basically?
Someone is paying you $2,500 a month. If you send them 20 leads a month, you're sending them too much.
Oh, okay.
How much is a roof in your area?
Oh, well, I guess it depends, but I guess the minimum 10 grand.
Okay, so you're gonna send 20 leads for $2,500? That's crazy.
Yeah, but then they'll close only what, maybe 25% or something.
Well, if you send them 20 leads and they close one of them, then do a JV agreement with me and let me train them as salespeople, because they can't close a door. I mean, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
They should be closing 3 out of 5 people, 2 out of 5 people. These are exclusive leads coming only to them, people that want roofs right now.
Yeah.
If you send them 5 leads, they should get 3 deals out of it. If they don't, they can't sell anything. You got to work on that with them. Or you got to find someone who.
You would be charging a lot more than 25 grand.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't send them 20 leads. I would have 3 or 4 roofing companies.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why am I going to send them 20 leads? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to charge them more money because I don't want to have to deal with them every day. If I charge them 10 grand a month, I got to talk to them, and that's what I got away from. I don't want to talk to them. Yeah, I want to charge them 2,500. I want to get them 2 or 3 deals a month, and that's it.
Okay.
Now, if I'm bringing in 20 leads for my Facebook ads, and I'm going to get 3 or 4 different roofing companies and split them up.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's where I just got a bit confused, because sometimes you talk about it depends on the industry. You want to send hundreds of leads to one specific customer, but some other industries you may want to send only 10 or 20 leads will be more than enough. So I just got a bit confused in terms of what is the real good providing part of this service. You know what I mean? So
The other thing too you have to pay attention to, Mitch, is this: if you have a roofing company, like I was mentioning before, if you have a roofing company that has 20 trucks that handles 100-mile radius or whatever, they could probably take 20 leads a month. You're not going to charge them $2,500 a month.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm assuming that your roofing guy in this hypothetical situation, your roofing guy is a guy with a truck that puts on roofs for a living. Maybe he has a crew of 2 or 3 people, but he can't handle 10, 15 roofs a month. If it's a massive company that has trucks all over the place and whatever, that's a different situation.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I would say 90% of those warm leads who said yes to me only have 2, 3 staff working for them.
Right. So that's why you're only going to send them 5 leads a month.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not going to send them 20 because they're not going to be able to handle them. And you're just wasting really super hot qualified prospects on people that are not going to be able to serve them.
Okay.
It's not doing right by the prospect on the Facebook side of it. It's not doing right by the client on your side of it. That person needs a roof. He needs someone to talk to. Don't send him to a guy that can't handle his business. Send him to someone who can and get paid for it at the same time. And everyone's happy. The roofer gets a new job. The guy gets a new roof, and you get paid for it, for connecting the 2 of them.
Okay, got it. So that leads me to the next question.
Sure.
So I just keep coming up with a lot of questions here.
No, it's all right. It's fine.
Okay. So my question is, okay, back to following your, the prospecting pitch. I kind of, added one line in your pitch, not every single call, but sometimes I did, depending on the situation. If I heard the person saying that, you know, kind of, if they sounded like their company is very, very small, like you know, single operation kind of thing, then I also asked that guy, hey, look, you know, how many leads do you think you can handle?
Right, that's fine.
That is, would that be all right to ask that question within your pitch?
Yeah, but you have to be prepared to shut them down right then and there if you're going to ask that question.
Right. Well, I was thinking, yeah, if the guy said, oh, I can only, you know, handle 3 leads a month, right?
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is just so we're on the same page. If I could send you 3 super hot qualified leads a month that are going to buy from you, you do the deal right now, yes or no?
Okay, right.
That's a buying question. You can't ask that question unless you're ready to take them down right then and there.
Well,
That's
I
like
guess
I'm walking into a car dealership and seeing me at the other end of the table and saying, you know, I really like that car, but I'll only buy it in black. And I say, oh, well, you know, I don't know. I'll have to look around. Basically, what you're telling me is if I get you that car in black, you sign the dotted line right now. Yes or no?
I guess the intention behind it, my intention behind that question is because I don't really want to end up dealing with this very small, like a single operation company. Right. When I actually want to pitch them, you know, next time in a couple of weeks down the track, for example. That's why I just wanted to ask up front so that I don't really have to call that guy or don't want to deal with that guy, you know, so tick off, you know, bye-bye. Just want to stick with on.
Right. I mean, listen, you can set your criteria however you want to set it. If you don't want to take clients that are only, you know, a 1-person operation or whatever, and they can only handle 3 or 4 leads a month, that's fine. The one thing that I would say is this: if that person is willing to pay you $2,000 a month to send them 5 leads, you know, you're not starting a relationship with the guy. You're not going to talk to him. You're not going to consult him. You're not going to give him advice. You're just sending him leads.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, listen, it's your business. It's up to you. But for me, I got into this so I could handle the smaller people.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I would never advise you to give him advice because that would be a nightmare. But just providing him a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I just love this whole simple stuff, you know, just, you know, the result-based consulting, you know, because I've been doing this little boutique SEO consultancy for the last 7 years, you know, just kind of got fed up with it, to be honest.
How'd you do with
Not
it?
enough time.
How did you do with it?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What is it?
I said, how did you do with your SEO business? Like, how is it still going?
Well, to be honest with you, I was kind of struggling, you know, on and off. Started off as one of my old friends who was a builder asked me to do this SEO for them, and I did it for free, and he got great results. That's how I got started, and then you know, cold calling. That's what I did, but I didn't know what to say. No pitch, you know, piece of paper in front of me, you know. So I was afraid of calling all the time, you know, because I don't know what to say, you know. And most of the time they said no, you know, piss off. So
right.
And I got into this, you know, bulk emailing things. I had to literally send thousands of emails, you know, in order to get possibly one possible client or the warm leads. Then I focused on that guy, hammering over the part, you know, course of 3 months to 6 months in order to make him say yes. So, you know, it took me a long time to come up with where we are. I mean, you know, I only got probably 7 or 8 clients at the moment who are paying around about $2,000 to $4,000 a month. But because I'm doing the SEO work 80% of the time all by myself, because I'm kind of started off as kind of techie background, to be honest with you.
Right.
But now it's, you know, 99% of my time is just dedicated to that, and the only little time to do the prospecting. So I want to completely change that. That's the reason why I got into your program. You know what I mean? Right. By the way, 2 years ago, I think 4 or 5 clients that I have now, I got them because of one of your trainings.
Oh, there you go. Which one?
I don't remember the name of it, but you basically, you know, blast out emails, cold emails first with this, the proof attached to it.
Yep.
Then you just start to get some incoming calls. Then you just go through your pitch, you know.
Right. So first thing I'll tell you is this. You have, I think you said 7 clients, right?
Yeah. At the moment, yes.
that pay you between $2,000 to $4,000 a month.
Two to four, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cheapest one is 500 to be honest, but only one.
Right. You're doing better than 99.999% of people out there. So that's the first thing you have to realize. Most people aren't doing anything and they're making zero. So you're doing better than most people. Not saying you're doing great, because you should always try to improve regardless of where you're at.
Yeah,
but,
I always want to aim higher. So
the other thing I'll tell you is this: your biggest problem is not the SEO thing. Your biggest problem is that you're doing the SEO. Your workday should be flipped over. 99% prospecting, 1% SEO.
Yeah.
And you
that's
should
what
get
I'm trying
rid
to do
of
now.
all of that. You should get rid of all of it.
Yeah. It's just that I have this a bit of a trust issue, I suppose, because I know pretty much local SEO ins and out, technically speaking.
Right.
When I I did hire a few people in the past, and they did the wrong thing, and did not rank as quick as I could possibly do. So I ended up just doing everything all by myself again, back to square, So that has been a bit of a headache, to be honest. So
right. You're gonna have to get rid of one side.
Yeah.
You either got to get rid of the sales side, or you got to get rid of the production side. You can't handle both of them. Impossible.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can't grow. I know it. So.
Right. But I mean, with something like this is, listen, we talk about Facebook ads, you talk about all that stuff all you want. That's fine. This is 100% sales. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it comes down to. That's all it is. I'm teaching you how to sell stuff. I'm not teaching you about, results.
Yeah, I'm not after that. I just want to learn this process and how to sell it. So.
Right. That's all that matters. I'll figure out how to get leads after they pay me. That's fine. I'm just focused on closing the deal. That's it. What's the second happen? I close the deal. They pay me $2,500 a month. I can't get them leads, and I give them their money back. And I still get the satisfaction of closing the deal on the telephone anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
In the past few days, I've been calling, prospecting based on your, the pitch, and surprisingly, I think I got yes close to 40%, and I hardly come across with any awful objections,
Right?
Except only one person who basically effed off me, and that was it. So.
Did you call him back?
No, I didn't. No, I just didn't bother because I already got enough yeses anyway. So why should I?
Right. But no, that's good, man. 40% on a cold call is not bad for lead generation.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't called thousands of, prospects, but, probably close to 100 or just a bit over 100 people, but, still good. So.
But listen, well, as you get deeper into it, you're just going to get better. So if you're getting 40% on the first 100, by the time you get to 1,000 or 100 a day, and listen, we went through this over and over again on these webinars. There's no reason why they should say no to you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not. I mean, it's not that I'm some magical person. It's just there's no reason to say no. It's not that I have all the answers to every objection. It's just there's no reason they should say no. It's a free lead. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's a very low resistance,
Right.
You just be able to take it. I'm not even just talking about business. Just if you want to read, just tell me yes. If not, I'll just move on. So.
Right.
So
yeah, but again, you have to. On the other side of that, yes, it's a very easy call to make, and it gets you used to the telephone. But on the other side of that, now you have to produce those leads and give them to the different people.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of stuck at right now. Like I said, I'm into a couple of niches at the moment, or niches, as you say, and 2 sites built, still kind of skeleton websites, but starting to rank. The first site is sitting on the first page. The second page, and then the second site is sitting on the third page right now. I think it's going to take another, a month or two to actually hit the top 5 positions.
Right.
So in the meantime, I'm going to have to do something to generate leads, to those warm leads, so that I can call them back and shut them down, right? So, but I haven't gone to that stage yet, because, like I said, I've been running this FB ads for the last 2 or 3 days, and so far no calls. So hopefully, I'm going to send you the email again later tonight, and you can have a look at it. And
how many impressions did you get?
Sorry again?
How many impressions did you get on the ad?
So far, one ad got about maybe 600 impressions.
How many? 600?
600, because I'm just targeting the maximum reach of probably 2,000 people in that specific area.
Oh yeah, no, that's way too low, man.
Oh, is it?
1,000 people?
See, that's the kind of thing that I have no idea. So
No, you need to be 800,000 to 1 million. 800,000 to 1.2 million is where you need to be.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm talking about the maximum reach is.
Oh,
300.
maximum reach. Okay, for your, I thought you meant your audience size. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
based on your
right,
budget,
ad
you see the maximum reach. You know,
right.
budget. That's sitting around about 1,200 to 1,500.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But you should have more than 600 impressions if you've been running it for 3 days.
Yeah, probably. I haven't checked the ad for the last 10 hours.
Yeah, you have probably an ad problem, and that's just a matter of finding one ad that's approved and then split testing the crap out of it till you find one that works.
Would that be all right if I can email you and you can have it?
Yeah. KennyCannon@gmail.com. It's just my name at gmail.com. Shoot me an email with all the information.
We'll do it later. Thanks.
Facebook is just a big guessing game, man.
Yeah.
Anyone who tells you anything different is lying to you. There's absolutely no. There's a process to posting the ad, obviously. I mean, there's that. But as far as like what definitely works and what doesn't, there's nobody knows. It's just a matter of split testing everything and doing it one thing at a time. You don't want to split test 10 things at once because then you don't know what's working and what's not. But change an image, change a headline, all that stuff, and then you find the one that works.
I also started to post the free ads on a local classifieds ads like Gumtree here, like Craigslist in the US.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And probably some other smaller websites, the local ones, and see how it's going to work out. And I just want to get leads,
Are you doing roofing companies? Is that the industry you're working in?
Well, actually, that's actually I'm kind of blurring that up a little bit because I don't really want to reveal it. But that's a similar industry that I'm actually working on.
Okay. The one thing that I didn't think of this till just now, but the one thing that I want to warn you about is watch your seasons with some of the things you work in.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I'm in New York, it's February, right?
Yeah.
If I get a landscaper, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
No one's buying landscaping in February.
Yeah.
No one's putting roofs on houses in February. No one's doing exterior painting on their home in February.
Yeah.
Right? So think about that. If you're doing classified ads, you should be getting calls. I mean, there's no reason, unless you write the worst ad ever, you should be getting calls on a classified ad site.
Yeah. I'm even thinking about paying some money to run small classified ads on a local newspaper in that city specifically.
Right. You could do that. I just think it's a bigger issue. It could be the industry and the season. It could be the ad that you're actually something that you're saying. There is absolutely no reason. If you run an ad on Gumtree, you should be getting calls on it.
Yeah. Well, that's something I just posted last night, so it's too early to tell.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, any kind of service stuff like that, they usually get calls all the time on sites like that.
Cool. I guess I should post that in multiple sort of suburbs, but then there's a regulation that you can only post one type of ad in one area. Is that right? So.
Well, I don't know about Gumtree. There's a
well, I think it's very similar to Craigslist, and the Craigslist says that users can't post multiple or duplicate ads in the different cities and stuff. Is that correct?
Right. You could probably only post one ad per day, but as far as that goes, one ad per day per person really means one ad per day per IP address.
Ah, okay, right.
You get a new IP address, you're a new person.
There's a way around it, I guess. You don't have to talk about it now.
Yeah, I mean that's how you get around it. It's just the internet doesn't know that you're using 17 different IP addresses to post ads. There's no way for them to tell that. They don't know it's you. So if you have 15 IP addresses, you rotate through them and you post an ad a day per IP address in 15 different cities. Just make sure you clear cookies in between each one and you don't do the same ad over and over again because then you're gonna get caught.
Okay, cool. All right. I guess that's about it from me. Yeah, thank you very much.
Cool, man. You're doing good. So just keep at it.
Okay, cheers.
All right. I saw a question come in there from Alabama Mike. I have a roofing company, CPA, and a law firm, and an HVAC company. Holy hell. that wants to pay me for leads now. So I need to find people who need their services now. I love the way you write questions. So I need to find people who need their services now, not just all homeowners in the area for roofers, etc. Would you say Facebook would be the best to get those leads? If I understand correctly, that's what you suggest for the quickest results. I believe that, yes, Facebook is the best way to get leads coming in right now. That's what I believe. Now, for your law firm and your CPA firm, that's a little bit of a different discussion. For your HVAC company and your roofing company, I would go a combination of classifieds and Facebook at the same time. Now, when I say it's a different discussion for your legal people and your tax people, or your bookkeeping, your CPA guy, you know, it really depends on what type of business they're in. So a law firm, listen, you can advertise, you advertise a divorce attorney one way, and you advertise a slip and fall ambulance chaser guy in another way, right? It's two totally different things. So it really depends on what type of law firm you're dealing with. And again, you advertise a single lawyer law firm differently than you would a 30 associate law firm. It's two different things. So I would need to know more about that law firm in order to tell you how to go with that. And the same thing goes with the CPA. If that guy specializes in something, then you would advertise it differently, as opposed to someone who's just like, hey, I'm, you know, a higher priced H&R Block, come to me and I'll do your taxes or whatever. If that's the type of guy, then it's advertised differently. I would focus heavily on the CPA guy now because it's going to be tax time very soon. The rest of them, you know, you could probably wait for them. No, not that you'd want to, but don't swamp yourself. If there's one pressing issue, it's the CPA guy. Raymond, can you please go back to the question? Oh yeah, sorry, I was talking to Mitch and I missed it. You probably answered this before, but I know we should have a local number for our ads, and I use Twillo, and the calls forwarded to our number till we get a client to take them over. How do we know what number they called so we can properly answer the phone? Sorry, you answered this before. I don't think I ever did answer this because I have no idea what you're asking. I don't really understand your question all that much. Let me try to read it again. You probably answered this before, but I know we should have a local number for our ads, and I use Twillo and have the calls forwarded to our number. Okay, so basically what I think you're saying, Raymond, is that you have like 10 different numbers on Twillo. They're all forwarded to your cell phone or your house phone or whatever you use. And you pick up the phone and you don't know what number they're calling from out of the 10 that you have, right? That's probably the question that you're asking. If that's it, just let me know because, yeah, okay, that's it. All right, so I don't know how to answer your question because I don't use Twillo for my call forwarding. But I get a notification on what number they're calling on my cell phone when they call. So that's really the answer, right? Like I know when my cell phone rings, I know what number it is. Okay. So that's how I do it. But I don't know if Twillo will do that for you. I don't know if they have that option. I use Callfire, Raymond. How do we know the difference between ad for big firm lawyer as opposed to lawyer working by himself? Are the words different or is it just the scale? That's a tough one, Cindy. It's a great question, but it's hard for me to answer. I'm going to say yes to both. The scale is definitely different, but the words are different as well. You know, and it's hard for me to explain. How do you know the difference? The first thing I'll tell you is this: how do you know the difference? You're going to run one ad that is based on scale, like you said. The other one is going to be based on, like, you know, immediate need. So it's kind of like what I was talking about before with, I think, Mitch. One ad for a lawyer with 40 people in his office is going to be every living human being in the area. right? That's going to be for the 40-person guy. The guy with one, it's just him, right, and his partner or whatever. That's going to be, caught my husband cheating, need a guy now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like desperate need right now today. Just got divorce papers in the mail or served, ready to rock and roll. I need a lawyer right now. That's going to be the guy with 2 people in his firm. The guy with the 40-person law firm, every person in the area needs to know who he is. Okay, so yes, the wording is very different. Yes, the scale is very different. And that's kind of how you know. Also, how should we be figuring that out as we get different clients in the future? That is probably a whole other course. No, Cindy, that's not a whole other course. How do you figure it out? You ask the guy how many associates you have. That's all. I mean, I know that sounds dumb, and you probably think I'm being a jerk, but that's really how you do it. You just say, how many people are working at your office? Or you say something like, listen, let me ask you a question. How many leads, honestly, because I don't want to like overload you, and I don't want to look like an idiot either. So how many leads can you handle a month? That's it. I think we did some of that in the call exercises that we did, right? So if we say, how many leads can you handle a month? Because I don't want to overload you, and I don't want to look like a moron for sending you 5 leads when you can handle 50. So just be honest with me and tell me. Okay, and then they'll tell you, and then you could say stuff like, if it's a roofer or a driveway guy, whatever, you could say, do you have trucks in other areas? Because when we get leads, we want to know where we're going to be. If it's a lawyer, you could say, listen, how many people do you have working for you so that I don't destroy you with consultations every day? If you have 50 people in your office, great, I can send you a lot of consultations. If you have 2, I don't want to have people lining up out this, down the street. So you just ask them. Yeah, the format is exactly the same, Cindy. You just ask them what it is that you need to know. And goes back to the gatekeeper, right? It goes back to all the stuff that we talked about. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. How do you figure out big lawyer, small lawyer, big roofer, small roofer? I literally say to them, how many can you handle? Like the best advice I can give you guys, if you have a question about something, think about the most basic, like 3rd grade answer you could think of. That's probably what I'm going to tell you to do. Like, how do you get past the gatekeeper? You ask for the owner. Like, listen, there's no magic to it. Is the owner available? That's it. No. Okay. Bye. It's not complicated. How do we word and advertise for small clients as compared to larger ones? So again, Raymond, it's going to be the same thing as the example I gave before. If you're doing a small client, it's going to be scaled down a lot more, right? So we were using a lawyer as an example because that's who most of my clients are. So talk about lawyers. If it's a lawyer with 1 person, it's just him, right? That's going to be a direct need that has to be fulfilled right now. That's going to be that focus of the ad. Right? If it's a lawyer that has 40 people in the office, I'm going to want to get every person over the age of 18 within 20 miles of that office to know who he is. That's the difference between the two. You know what's a better way to put it? Here's a better way. Hopefully you'll understand this. The bigger guy is more of brand awareness ads. The little guy is more of a direct response ad. I'm still getting direct response on the bigger guy, but it's more of a, hey, just in case you need a lawyer, here I am type ad, as opposed to, you just broke your leg in Walmart. Call me right now. We're going to sue him for millions of dollars, for the smaller guy. Okay. Cindy, are we going to talk about the GVR thing? No. It didn't even come out yet, and you're already asking me about it? No. I mean, I know the early videos came out, but no. That comes out tomorrow night, Cindy. Don't get so crazy on us. Getting crazy already. Just a different sales angle, and you're going to be able to use it, I think. And basically what we're doing is instead of talking about it. Okay, so here's the best way to explain it. There's 3 ways to increase the revenue of a company. 3 ways. There's only 3. Does anyone know them? If you know them, type them in the box, and I'll tell you you're probably wrong. But if you know them, Type them in the box. There's 3 ways to increase revenue of a company. What are they? Somebody. Raymond said no. Cindy, you should know what they are since you asked the question. There's 3 ways. Number 1, more customers, Cindy. There you go. That's number 1. You can bring in more customers, right? The second way is you can reduce the cost of goods sold, overhead of the company, the electric, fire people, shoot people, whatever it is, right? You can reduce the cost, the money that they put out. Okay. The other way to do it is to raise prices. Those are the only 3 ways. You can raise prices, you can bring in more customers, or you can lower the overhead. Every single person, besides 3 or 4 that I know, and they're in a completely different industry. They sell satellite TV. Every person that I've ever seen, including myself, I do this every single day, goes into a sales presentation with the goal of increasing revenue by generating more business, right? I do that all the time, and it works really, really well if you do it the right way. What we're going to be talking about with this is going into a sales presentation with the goal of increasing revenue by reducing cost. And it works just as well, maybe not as good, but close, but it's a lot easier to sell because no one else is doing it. So here's a good example. Ready? Watch this. And Cindy, yeah, you got them all right. So there you go. And Alabama Mike, you got cut costs, less overhead. So here's how it works, right? We're going to be ranking videos on Google. Okay. Now I can go in and I can say, hey, I got a great video. It's ranked number 1. It's awesome. It's like 5 people watching it every day and like all this crazy stuff. People are calling you and all this stuff, right? I could do that and I can get hung up on and get thrown out of the guy's office. Or I could say, hey, you're paying $2,000 a month for SEO and I'm ranking above you. So how about this? You cancel the $2,000 a month payment. You pay me $500 one time and you own the video. That's it. It's a cost reduction play and the responses are through the roof because you're coming at it with a different angle or from a different angle, I should say. Do you outsource cold calls? It's a good question. I'll get back to it in a second. Because calling 500 leads all by myself would end up taking a lot of time. Also, what if I want to hit the US market with a 12-hour time difference? Wouldn't it be better to outsource at least partially? Do I outsource cold calls is the first question. Do I outsource cold calls? Yes and no. It depends on your definition of outsourcing. I do not hire people in India to do my cold calling. But I do have employees that cold call for me. So that's, you know, I don't go on Upwork and post an ad about, hey, I need cold callers to generate leads for me. I don't do that, but I do hire people to call for me all the time. So hopefully that, you know, answers that question for you. Calling leads, 500 leads a day is going to take a lot of time. It depends. If you're dialing by hand, you're right. If you're using a dialer, it's not going to take that much time at all. Probably, I would say maybe 100 calls an hour, maybe five hours. If you're doing 2 lines or 3 lines, if you're doing 5 lines at a time, it'll probably take you 3 hours or so, but you're going to actually see a reduction in your contacts if you do that because you're going to have a lot of people that are on the phone at the same time and you're going to hang up on one of them. So just watch that if you're one person dialing 5 lines at a time. Would it be better to outsource it at least partially? Yeah, it would be if you're calling the US because you're you have the time difference like you said. And you know, listen, just being honest with you so you understand what you're getting into. The hardest thing to overcome on the telephone is an accent, no matter where you're from. If I call Texas, I have a tougher time than if I call Manhattan. If Texas calls me, instant prejudice right away the second I pick up the phone because I hear them, right? Listen, we all judge people the second we hear them or see them or whatever, okay? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but what I am saying is it's my job. That's what I have to do. Our jobs as salespeople, as marketers, as professionals is to prejudge people, put people in groups where we feel, you know, specific groups are more likely to do an action, whatever we want them to do, right? That's our job. So it's going to be hard to overcome. If you're calling from Australia into the United States, people are going to instantly be suspect of you. Now, there are times when the accent works in your favor. For example, if you're from the UK calling in the United States, and there's been studies done on this, by the way, if you're calling from the UK in the United States, you're actually seen as more trustworthy than someone calling US to US. I am the most least trustworthy person in the world because I have a New York accent. Instant prejudice. The second anyone picks up the phone, instant not trusting this person because of the way that I talk. Okay. So how does this come back to outsourcing, right? If you're going to break into the US market, my suggestion to you, it's going to be expensive, but my suggestion to you is outsource it to the US market so that at least you have, you know, the people with the same, that speak the same talking to each other. Always the toughest thing to overcome. And the other thing too, while we're on that topic, while we're on the not politically correct topic of being prejudiced and getting paid for it, because listen, if you look at the definition of prejudice, it's like it's not like, you know, I'm not talking about like hating people or whatever. What I'm talking about is you have to prejudge people and you have to say, okay, listen, these people right now have $100,000 in the bank and they're renting an apartment. So they're most likely to want to buy a home. That's prejudging people, right? But that's your job as a marketer, as a salesperson. If you're a realtor, you have to look at those people and say, hey, that's my target audience, right? This guy's car just got wrecked and he got a $10,000 check from the insurance company. I'm a car salesman. That's my target audience, okay? Women are better on the telephone. They come off more trustworthy than men every time. In every study that's ever been done in like the history of the world, if a woman calls a man, especially on the telephone, they have a better chance of closing the deal from the start. Now, obviously, skill comes a lot into that. But if you look at the top salespeople in almost every industry on earth, it's usually a woman. And that's just because they're more trustworthy, or they come across as more trustworthy. It's not necessarily that they are or they aren't. They just come across that way. All right, so you guys have any more questions, you can type them in the box. If not, we'll end it there. It's 9:30, I think, right? 9:27. So if you guys have any other questions, you can type them in. And if not, we'll end it there. I was just checking my email on my phone while I was waiting for you guys. I gotta sit down for this one. What's the new program and should we get it to work with this? It's not a new program. It's just a low ticket offer that we're launching on Warrior Plus. You can get it if you want. I mean, listen, everything that I am involved in is not, like I was telling Mitch before, 99% sales, 1% thing that you're providing. So if you're looking, if you want to have another angle to sell from, which I just basically told you what it is, but if you want to have another angle to sell from, then sure, why not? Raymond, yeah, you'll get you should have gotten emails already, but actually I know for a fact you did get emails already. But yeah, you'll get an email tomorrow night about it and you guys will get a discount on it. I don't know how much it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot cheaper for you guys than anybody else. Can we reach out to you guys over the next few months? Yeah, you can reach out to me whenever you want, man. All right, guys. Cindy's done, so that means I'm done as well. Whenever Cindy leaves, I leave. That's the rule. Are people having good results from the LinkedIn thing? People that are doing it are. Most people don't do anything though, Mike. Justin built a $400,000 company, or whatever it is, 300 grand, $300,000 company starting from nothing on LinkedIn. I don't pay attention to it at all, to be honest with you. I don't do it. I go on LinkedIn to wish people a happy birthday, and like, because I have it on my phone, so I get the alerts saying like, oh, this guy's been at this company for 17 years, and I just congratulate everybody. That's my extent of LinkedIn. That's it. And I think I have a picture on there or something. But yeah, I don't do it. But the people that do it, yeah, they're seeing results from it. It's like anything else. My email address is just my name. I'll type it in here so you guys can see it. It's like anything else, man. Does cold calling work? No, if you stare at the phone and don't do it. If you pick up the phone and dial it, sure, works fine. Mike's about to explode. I like that. All right, Mitch, I'll take a look at it and let you know what I think. I'll respond tonight to that one. right, guys, I'm going to stop.